London Real, sponsored by Bulletproof Coffee.
And for those of you that don't know, autism is a lifelong developmental difficulty or challenge, depending on your mindset, that a young person faces or anyone faces. And it does involve, or it does challenge the person in the way that they interface with society and interface with the world, specifically about the way they communicate and relate to people and the world in terms of language and expression of thoughts. Often these kids and learners, they can have really fixed interests and won't move away from them. They have very rigid thinking, and often there tends to be a kind of plethora of challenges that come with that. So a learner that has autism may have ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and they may have certain visual impairments, certain physical impairments that come along with that.
Okay.
So, and we as Baston House School, we provide schooling, daytime schooling. So sessions start at 9 in the morning and they end at about 3:30. That is going to change soon. We are now going to open the school out for longer hours. And we educate kids and prepare them for life.
What is the age range?
Starts off at 5, so the youngest learners are 5, and they're lovely because they're our stress relief. If you ever want to remind yourself of why you've gone into education, you go down to the nursery and you interact with these 5-year-olds that are all one-way love. You know, it's all about give me a hug, or anything they say, no matter what it is, sounds great coming from a 5-year-old kid.
Wow.
And they look lovely as well. So
okay.
You go there, you do a mock tea party, and the world is a better place. It is, yes.
I believe you.
Yeah.
And what's the other end of the age
The
range?
other end are the 16-year-old kids. Okay. These are the kids that are supremely capable, especially with high-functioning autistic learners. And I'll say this now, autism is a spectrum. And people's perceptions of autism is pretty varied. So previously, back in probably 70s, 80s, you had doctors who knew very little or nothing about autism. Autism was confined to the psychology, psychiatry, and then the kind of, the movie started, Rain Man. And
I was going to bring up Rain Man because so many people know that movie.
Yeah.
Was it 80s?
80s, yeah. It was
80s,
Cruise, Tom Cruise, Hoffman.
Yeah, Hoffman was there. And everyone, that was, I think,
and
most people's first introduction.
Exactly. And most people think that, autism is great. And if anyone listening gets a chance to check out a blog called My Son's Not Rain Man by a really interesting guy. He's a cool guy. I've met him. And yeah, I won't say much on that, but check out the blog in terms of not every autistic kid is a savant, which is what the character in Rain Man was.
Right.
And based on a true story. A guy named Paul, who I think now is in his 50s or 60s, is a savant who has mastered every single book in a library, but yet needs support in getting dressed and ready in the morning.
Does that movie Rain Man help or hurt you?
It helps in terms of raising awareness, making people aware of things. It does unfortunately make certain parents have expectations that are possibly unreal for certain learners. We all hope and have the best interests of the learner at heart, but we've got to set realistic goals and hope for the best. But certain carers, certain parents, after watching that movie, and certain individuals, they kind of expect that every single autistic learner is going to be a savant.
Okay, and they need to understand it's not.
And they need to understand that every single autistic learner, every person's unique and should be treated as such.